Welcome to Graduate Spotlight, a presentation of College Success Arizona. This program features the hardworking college graduates who have earned scholarships from College Success Arizona and are now in the workforce or continuing with their education. Today on Graduate Spotlight, we interview Ricardo Palomera.
I was born in the state of Washington, so I lived there up until I was about 10 years old. I grew up there in a town called Bothell, Washington, which is 10 minutes north of Seattle. All my family still lives there, but I moved down here when I was about 10 years old, in 2004, and I grew up in Avondale. I lived over in Avondale, and I graduated from Westview 2012.
And how old are you now?
I'm going to be 23 in about 2 weeks. So, I'm going to be 23 in 2 weeks on August 8th.
And you're already a teacher after graduating from ASU?
Yeah, I finished my first year teaching. I'm about to start off my second year.
And what is it like teaching? Are you enjoying that?
Honestly, a lot of people always try to kind of. I love my job. It's honestly that there's not anything else that I honestly would rather be doing. Because I've always been a history person. That's why I graduated. I graduated with the secondary education in history. I've been wanting to be a teacher since about the 7th grade. So and my history teacher is the one who made me sort of go on to that path. So I love my job. Because I really like just being able to talk about certain things with kids. I like being able to I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to explain it the best way I feel about it because it's a stressful job. It's exhausting, and as a 22-year-old, it is difficult because, I am hanging out with kids all day or hanging out with freaking teachers that are 40, 50, basically graduated with Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get the same experience that some of my friends do who are still out, kind of in between jobs or going out at night and stuff like that. So that part kind of the social part of it is kind of tough to adapt to.
Now you're hanging out basically with people your parents' age or older maybe at your day job, and then there's kids. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Where are you teaching?
I teach at North High School, which is right here on 12th Street in Thomas, part of the Phoenix Union High School District.
And you said you always wanted to be a teacher, and now you are teaching history. Is that right?
Yeah. So I for the longest time, growing up, I always really liked history, and I wanted to be an archaeologist or an anthropologist. But then I don't know. I was going through some sort of crisis, I guess, in 7th grade. I was like, well, I don't know if that's what I really want to do. And I'll never forget my 7th grade teacher, my history teacher, Mr. Dostal, who I've been trying to get in contact with. But he, at the last day of school, he gave us each these little booklets that kind of told us about how he felt about us as students. And one of the things that was included in there was where he thought that what kind of career he thought we would be. Right? He was suggest a career for I don't remember something like that. Right? And for me, when I read mine, it just said teacher. And that kind of just opened up my eyes to I know that sounds cheesy, but I was I never thought about that, So, yeah, since then I've always kind of had the mindset of being a teacher and then that's my first step at least. Yeah.
And being a teacher and being so young, does that help you or hurt you with the students? Because one could think that you're so young you could still relate to them, but one could also say that you're so young they may not take you seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly, just thinking about from this past year, I'd say it helps me a lot because, one of the things that I like to joke with my kids about all the time is how old all the other teachers are, Because, they know how, my last year I taught mainly freshmen, sophomores. I taught freshmen. I basically taught all grade levels. So, I assume that, the way that we just work, it just kind of made it easier for us to sort of connect. It made it easier for us to communicate certain things. But, yeah, you're right. It was, the really tough part was sort of trying to get to that point where they didn't think of me as, just another person, to really respect me as a teacher. So I had to deal with that, and that was really tough. And that is still something that I'm going to be working on. But, I think overall it's helped me more than it has hurt me.
And you've had this goal, this dream, this ambition to be a teacher through much of your teenage life, and now you go through college, you get your degree, and you are a teacher, and you've completed your first year of teaching. Has that intensified your passion for teaching, or maybe created a little bit of doubt about how difficult this might be?
It really hasn't I always kind of anticipated the challenge of it. Like I never really went into it being like, oh, I'm going to save the world and blah, blah, blah and all that. Because that's how a lot of teachers come off as. And like, I mean, I'm a student of color. So, I understand a little bit more about how many obstacles some of these kids face. And my kids are predominantly like brown, black. I have like 3 white kids throughout all of my six classes, So kind of going through the first year, I wasn't as shell-shocked as some other people are, I had a professor once tell me that really helped me out. He said, no one expects you to be the first, the perfect first-year teacher. And I was like, yes, that's so true. It's made me become a lot more, excited about my job. It's made me look at it in different ways, and it's made me kind of, this is my sort of activism that I'm giving to the community. I'm being part of this. So it's definitely, I guess, I guess like you said, initiated some sort of I don't know. Yeah, it definitely has not made me more doubtful about it at all.
And you graduated from Arizona State University, and you also earned a scholarship from College Success Arizona, which provided you up to $6,000 per year for educational expenses, living expenses. Can you talk about how that was helpful so far as helping to alleviate some of the financial stress of college?
Oh man, that scholarship was probably the best thing that's happened to me. I got really lucky because I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket really. I didn't have any loans. I didn't have to I worked through college, but I didn't necessarily have to. It was sort of one of the things that I did. And so because I had that scholarship, I had the Arizona Board of Regents, the AIM scholarship. I had that one. I had a scholarship from ASU. Then I had a grant from the government. So that was really great. I also ended up getting a job as an RA on campus for 2 years, my sophomore and my junior year. So that helped me out because then, they took care of my room and my meal plan. So all the money that I would get would come back to me, and that really helped me out a lot. So that scholarship helped me out so much. I was able to focus on what I wanted to do. I was able to focus on what that scholarship means to me. You know what I'm saying? It was sort of okay, you earned this. Now show me what it means to you. Prove it. Because it's one thing. I knew a few people that tried to get the scholarship because they wanted to be teachers, and then they didn't get it, and then they were like, well, I didn't really want to be a teacher anyway. I'm like, okay, so what the hell, that scholarship really sort of cemented, yeah, this is what I want to do,
And who was your success advisor?
Oh, my success advisor was Myrna. Oh man, Myrna, she's my girl.
Myrna Cardenas, who is works as a success advisor with College Success Arizona. I think she's a manager of some kind now, but basically works with students like yourself to help guide you through the process of college. Right. Talk about what she did on a regular basis. What did she do?
So one of the great things about how Myrna really helped me out, first of all, was, right off the bat, when I first met her, she was really young. I was able to relate to her a lot because, she's from Oregon, I'm from Washington, That was really cool. She was really great to talk to. She just made my entire experience, so much easier. I was able to not feel as intimidated going to college because I knew that every time, every quarter or every semester or whatever, I got to see her and I would talk to her and I would be able to discuss things that were kind of weighing on my mind, and she would help me out. She has her master's, which is super impressive. A woman like her, that's worked super hard and, continues to work hard and continues to work for the community. And she got her master's. She's a badass, and she really kind of motivated and inspired me to make sure that I can do the same. I was extremely, extremely lucky and fortunate to have her. She's great. She's the best.
And you mentioned Myrna has her master's degree. At some point, would you want to maybe pursue a master's?
Yeah. So my plan has always been that I want to get my doctorate, actually become a college professor. And so teaching was sort of that deal where, okay, anyone can go up in front of a room and just lecture for an hour, but I want to know how to actually, make sure that people understand what's going on, So I wanted to become a teacher so I could learn how to do that. And so I'm hopefully going to be really working, starting on my master's by the time next year. I haven't really done much to it. I really got to get on it, but yeah, that's my plan. Try to get my master's and then get my doctorate.
And for middle and high school students who may be considering college, what advice would you offer?
I guess I tell my kids the same thing is I try to make college a little bit more realistic for them. One of the things that people always tend to kind of tell you is that, well, there's an easier way, or that like, I don't know. It's hard. I should have some sort of good advice, but really all it is that, you really just got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in what you can do and what you're capable of doing, because there are times where, like, you're gonna have a test or an essay, just something stupid school related, where, like, you're gonna stress out about it, and it's gonna freak you out, and you're gonna panic, and you're gonna feel like you can't do anything, and then you sort of kind of let that fester, and it's gonna get in your head. You won't be able to do what you want to do. But I mean, in all honesty, like, it's important to really, like, stay focused, stay motivated, understand what you want to do, know that you know how that school is honestly, like, the best thing that you could do for yourself. Graduating high school, graduating college, like, you have so many more opportunities available to you because of it. You meet so many more different people. Like, your life gets a lot better, like, no matter what, And so, like, to those, if there are kids out there, that are going to read this or hear this, and they're like, well, I don't know if I really want to go to high school or college, or I don't know if I don't really know if I want to go to college, if it's not for me. Like, honestly, like, it is for you, because the thing is, it's all about you. You know what I'm saying? You make it on your own. Like, it's expensive, it's tough, it's hard, but I mean, like, what isn't? What isn't hard? What isn't something that's totally worth it, not difficult? So I don't know. I always think that, like, it's college, and college is definitely one of those things where it's completely worth it. Completely worth it.
And growing up, were your parents, immediate family, were they really supportive and encouraging of you attending college?
My family was always really supportive of it, but, like, they didn't know much about it. My mom went to college in Mexico, and when she moved to the United States, like, her degree didn't really transfer over here. And I guess things were different there, because I'll never forget, I was like 10 years old, 9 years old, something like that, and we were talking about college one time, and I mentioned something about, like, paying for it, and my mom was like, I had no idea that you had to pay for college here. Like, in Mexico, you didn't have to, I guess. So they didn't have a college fund for me set up. Just like, I lived in Washington, so all my friends, all my, like, white friends all had parents that had college funds set up for them, and I did it, and I was like, oh, like, I thought that was the standard, but I guess not, My dad was always really supportive. I mean, he's always been supportive of me because he wants me to do well. But yeah, my family's always been very supportive of me going to college. Not so much about being a teacher, but, like, my mom definitely has been the number one support and number one encouragement of all that. And
maybe a final question or two. Do you have any hobbies, interests, passions beyond the books, beyond your job?
Yeah, I guess, my main hobby is I make music. I write my own songs, record my own albums, just do that kind of to myself. Nothing too serious, I guess. I've put out, like, a few albums already.
Well, that sounds like you're a musician. You write your own songs. Do you sing your own songs?
Yeah, I sing my own songs. I write my own songs. I record my own songs. I do the whole thing except actually, like, go out and play for people because I'm like, well, people, I don't know if they really want to hear this, but whatever.
What kind of music? What kind of songs do you produce?
It's really just simple, like, bedroom sort of, like, recordings of me and my guitar. The kind of, like, folky kind of sound, I guess you could say. It's a little it's very yeah, it's really simple. It's very minimalist almost,
You're kind of like a James Taylor, guitar, singer, songwriter guy. Is that sort of what you are?
I mean, James Taylor, I don't know if that's the...
well, I can't think... I'm trying to think of an Hispanic James Taylor. I'm trying to... help me here. Who are you looking at?
Let me think. James Taylor...
Or somebody more... Okay, Rob Thomas. He's more modern. He's a singer-songwriter.
No, not Rob Thomas. Definitely not Rob Thomas. He's not my guy.
All right.
I'd say. Oh, man, you got me, man. You got me. I don't know.
Singer-songwriter, male singer-songwriter, guitar player. There's got to be about 20 of them. We should be able to name those pretty quick.
I mean, Cat Stevens, I guess. There's this guy named Kurt Vile I really like. He's been a really cool, like, inspiration for me musically. Yeah, I mean, singer-songwriters, I guess you could call them that. I don't know. I can't think of myself, comparing myself to anyone, because those people are all, like, really good at what they do, and I'm, like, just sort of like a hermit crab doing my own thing, and then, pop out every now and then, I guess,
Good for you. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ricardo, for the interview, and also for working so hard to make a difference in our community. Since 2005, College Success Arizona has worked with nearly 1,300 students just like Ricardo and provided more than $16 million in scholarships and success services to help increase the overall college attainment rate in Arizona. If you would like to be part of the mission of providing educational opportunity to high potential students from low income circumstances, your tax-deductible contribution can be made through the Donate button on the College Success Arizona homepage located at collegesuccessarizona.org.